Hi everybody and welcome. This is a video about, we can read it here on top. It says top programming languages 2022, and we are talking about not programming languages, we are talking the best programming language which you should learn in 2022 and perhaps later too. The problem is here, I opened here my search and I watched some pictures, and when I watch these pictures they have a listing, you can see it, and when I click the first one, for example, here on the right side we can see, in this case, Python is top, okay? Then Java, JavaScript, C++, C Sharp, C, TypeScript, PHP, and so on. Interesting. Then I click this chart. Oh, what happens here? Now anything other is on top. There is Go, Python, Kotlin or something. It's very small. But there are other programming languages on top. Oh my god, what's happening? And when I click here, okay, this one is an older one. Probably it changed. See, we have C on top here now. Java, JavaScript. And let's click a little bit more. What we find here, JavaScript is on top, HTML is on top, SQL is on top, anywhere there. Okay, so we can send Python is here again on top, and on this chart Perl is on top. Interesting. And when I go so on, you will see anyhow the top languages changes, at least the top changes. The top is probably similar, but all time anyone is advising something different, and we are coming here on YouTube or in search. For example, I search in Google, or you can search in whatever you want, and then there are different suggestions, even though I wanted to find the best programming language to learn in 2022. So I have a big problem. As a, let's say I'm an absolute beginner, absolute newbie who has no clue about anything and so on, and now they are showing me different programming languages on top, which is a little bit irritating, right? Because I thought they will suggest me one really good one, and then yeah, I can pick one. So the question is why they are doing that. And perhaps as a newbie I will go to YouTube and then I type the same thing what I typed here, there too, right? Top programming languages 22. And when I scroll down here, YouTube, then I can click here and there are some YouTubers, and everybody has their own list too, and they talk why they think this one is the best or this one is the best, and so on. And you will see this chart we have there too, right? Anywhere here. No, it was not one, but what I mean is they will have their own suggestions, their own point of views, and they will try to convince you this one or that one is the best. And now you found anyhow my YouTube tutorial where we discussed this a little bit, and I will tell you also which one is the best programming language to learn, right? Actually, this works not like that, in my opinion. I mean, what they are showing you all here is right, absolute right, and they explain all what they think, why it is good to learn, why it's top, and why what is that, and why you should learn this. And this guy makes even a ranking here in list what I think it's the best and the worst. But as a newbie, so the question is, First of all, it will irritate you a little bit when you watch them through that everybody is showing another programming language and saying if you learn that one and that one is the best, right? The same goes here, right? We started here with Python and here we have C on top and so on. So the problem is, who is right? Who of these guys or the charts or whatever is right? What is the best programming language to learn in 2022? And you know what? I will tell you this in this video. And if you believe that, then you are totally wrong. Because then you made the same mistake to believe something which is probably a very abstract question, and everybody is trying to tell you their point of view and so. But I will tell you something which probably will help you to find the best programming language which you can learn in 2022. So let's get to the point. So you say that first of all, you should check what kind of programming languages are there. And the first thing, let's do this. Let's go. Programming languages, Wikipedia and list. Yeah, something like that. And then Wikipedia is all time nice, right? There. And now what we realize is, I repeat myself, that we have here programming languages and it starts from 0 actually, and then A, and here is a list. A big, very big, very long, big, long list. So the first thing is, okay, wait a minute. There is a very big long list, but all these charts and guys are telling me that there are specific languages which I should learn in 2029. So the first question is, why is there a big list then when there is all time, let's say 1 or 5 or 1 till 10 a ranking, and why is here a list over let's say 100 or 200 programming languages? One thing might be there are older programming languages which doesn't exist today, and there are some programming languages, why are they here, why are they not used, or why they are bad, or what's the problem? This is the first question which we should ask ourselves, but we don't do this here. We try to find the best programming language. So we go, okay, we notice that here is a big list, okay, and the next thing is I'm searching the best programming language in 2022. Guys, I want it because we will spend a lot of time and work and effort after we picked one, right? After we picked one of these languages and we start learning a programming language, that will take time, that will take work, and perhaps that will even take money if you spend money on a programming language if it's not free. So we have to choose wisely, right? That's the reason why we are here. That's the reason why we are going all these channels. Perhaps you find some blogs too here on other sites and watch the charts and check all. And yeah, you want find the best in 2022. And so now I talked already a lot, right? But I never said which is the best now, right? I never told you that. The most important question, I never told you that. And I think I should tell you that. I tell you now the magic formula. Choose. Actually, should I tell you that? I tell you it. Sorry for that. I'm very in a good mood now to make this video because it's so funny. Sorry for that. Okay, the programming language you should choose is, and after you go all this list through, it is actually the language which you need after you finish learning one programming language. That is a stupid answer, but it is, in my opinion, the best answer which I can give. So let me repeat this one more. Which programming language you should learn? It is the programming language which you need after you learn and finish a chosen programming language, which you really need. And wait a minute, what do you mean with that? Although, first of all, it's not a real answer, right? When we say you come here to expect to find now the best programming language, and now I'm telling something like you should learn the programming language which you need after you finished your programming language course, right? That is my answer, and what a stupid answer, right? But actually, let's think about it. All the suggestions what you see here on YouTube, and all the points of views, and all these charts and so on, these are, or let's say this is a general view. What this means is they don't know you. They don't know what you like. They don't know what jobs you want. They don't know what you are interested in. And so they just show their opinions, their general views, and their general, let's say their general ideas about programming language. Like me, it's my presentation is also just a general idea, but the point is they are suggesting you a concrete programming language. And when you watch this here on top, for example, you should learn Python as a ranking one. You can see here most in demand programming languages. It has a very high demand, which is normally good, and this is a general statistic. That's the problem. But you, as a person, you are in the general statistic like me, but you have your own interests, your own views for the future, and so on. So, which means if you choose one of their suggestions, and if you're lucky, it fits, but if you are unlucky, and most time you will be unlucky if it's not. So let me explain what I mean with that. Let's go for our nice, not this one. Let's go for our nice Python example. This one is definitely a very nice suggestion, I think. They say if you learn Python, then you have very, very good opportunities in your future and you will succeed. And as a, let's say, as a newbie who comes here, who see the other programming languages and who knows not much about anything here, say yes, it has a big demand, interesting, and if I choose Python, I can't make so much wrong, right? Because the other ones are so low ranked, and yeah, this is the first mistake you can make. And that's why I showed you actually this big list here and long list, because there is a reason, because there are so many programming languages. And one reason is they have different or specialized use cases. And what this means, use cases specialized. And so I give you a short demonstration. Let's say you want to create you want to be a web designer, right? A web designer. And a web designer requirements, or requirements in this case, our web designer programming languages are not the same programming languages like, let's say, like a game developer who wants not make web games, who want make PC games, right? Something like that. Let's say a game developer needs other programming languages than a web designer. So wait a minute. What are the programming languages of a web designer? You can go here again. Web designer requirements. That's web designer requirements or so. It's dip and okay, I missed something. Programming languages. Oops. Here we have something here, and then you will find here anywhere kind of list, and then you see, okay, web designer needs JavaScript, perhaps type, Python, this is not really true. Let's oh, what is that? That was not good. Very bad example for right from the bat. So a web designer, for example, I click just here and scroll down and they will show something here. Yes, that's more true. So here are something. For example, a web designer need definitely HTML, CSS, Java, perhaps more JavaScript, Python perhaps later, to SQL, PHP. Okay, they are doing it a little bit too much, but I tell you what you need definitely as a web designer. This one is a very basic. Ask a web designer. If you find a web designer who don't know HTML, then you know that there is something wrong. Okay, let's say, well, to make this video a little bit more simple, you need definitely HTML, right? Definitely, and you need probably CS, Java, and JavaScript too, and so on. But let's keep on this one. This is definitely what a web designer is a have-to knowledge. Without this one, it will not work. Let's go on. Let's go back to our list and see, wait a minute. And I said, as an example, you want to be a web designer, for example. You are after you learned a programming language, which you choose here without thinking too much, for example, Python. And after that, you want to make web design. But the problem is here, like I showed, you should know web design. Here is actually also Python anywhere there, but careful, this one is an addition. Addition means you can do some other stuffs, but the basic stuffs which you need, you have to learn first HTML. And that's the problem. And let's say you didn't know this, yes? At start, you just choose Python, you learned the Python course, and after you finish the Python course, you say, hey, I learned Python, now I can go and program web design, right? And then you try to apply for, let's say, for a job, or you are doing your own. You can create your own websites and try to tell them it's possible, but then you realize, oh, wait a minute. I can't use Python really for web design. Why not? Oh, I must learn HTML. Oh crap! Why? And then then the question comes: why you not choose HTML from the start, right? And perhaps JavaScript. This is the more common programming language in web design, which is more important. Here is also JavaScript, by the way, a little bit down, but. Yeah, but if you choose, for example, in this case, Python, not JavaScript, you would waste a lot of time just because you have to learn JavaScript afterwards, and so on. But this one is not the worst example. Let's make a little bit more worse. Let's stick to this example again. Let's say you learned C++ instead of JavaScript. We needed, our web designer needs, let's say, JavaScript or HTML and so on. And you can see a very interesting note here too. HTML is not even listed here. JavaScript is, but HTML is probably not considered to be here as a programming language. It's more a markup language, but in real it is a requirement as a programming language. And yeah, whatever. Anyway, it is not even listed here, which is wrong if you want to become a web designer. So next example, let's say you want to become iOS, let's say Mac programmer, right? Then you get again a problem. For example, Mac has its own programming language. And if I think it's possible in C++ too, but they have for mobile things, I think Swift or something like that. And this is also not listed here. And then, well, let's say you want to become, I made before the example with the game developer. The most game developer learns more C++, C#, and something like that. So for example, you learn Python and later you realize they have perhaps Python as an addition, but the core system is C++ or C# or something like that, and then you wasted again a lot of time. So what and that's why I said the most important thing what you have to do is to find a programming language which you will use after you finished your programming course. Let's say if you go, for example, to the recommendation here and choose Python, what you have to do is check first, before you choose Python, what comes next after you finished your programming course, right? What comes next? What application you can make? Is the job what Python offers the right one? Let me make here one more example. I said, for example, a game engine or something like that has C++, C#. That means you are going, for example, in game production and as a game developer, right? Something like that. Python has this too, but not the very advanced, more here in C++ or C#. And then or use like before, web designer, then you can forget C# and C++ actually, because as a web designer you don't need that, you need other programs. Then you go for HTML and CSS, JavaScript, and so on. And so your job is really to watch what comes later, not what is now. And it's not like so that you can freely choose. I mean, of course you can freely choose, but the problem is all programming languages which you see here and so on, later they have specific jobs where they are performing very well. And here you can see Python, it says most in demand programming language because they say it's easy to learn, but actually I made an example with game development. In game development, Python is not the real thing what you are going to learn. And in websites actually also not. I mean, you saw in websites there is a use case for Python, and in game development there is a use case for Python as an addition, but not as a core system. So they will not ask you, do you know Python? They will ask you in game development, for example, C#, C++. In web development, they will not ask you really, perhaps, but not really about Python. They will ask you about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and much other things, and so on. So the point is, really, as a beginner, your job is not to choose here anything you without with the mindset, yes, I can choose one language, and then I can, when after I learned this language, I can do all later. That's this is not working in the real world. Here in theory, it's working. Definitely, you can choose one one programming language and do all stuff, because in the end, this is our programming language. But in our real world, in out here, yes, you choose one programming language for a specific job, and it will be offered later. And for Python, it says it's most in demand. Here, for example, you have to check. Let's check this. Python jobs. Job list. That sounds good. And then I don't know, I just click here something. What we have here, nothing. Oh no, programming job list. Programming job list. And programming job fields. Let's go here. And let's see, I click, for example, 6 jobs, and then this guy is telling, I don't know if it's good or not. Python developer, build website. This is not really true, but you can. Optimizing data algorithm, yeah, something like that. Solve data analytics problem, implementation, security and data protection, writing reusable, testable and efficient code, whatever. The problem is here, you really have to check, what are these jobs? Do you like these jobs, right? Because every programming job, like the definition from let's say for 30 years ago, it works not. Today, programming is so a different spread field. There you have really to choose the one which is connected to the job you want. And let's say you go for security or something like that, then you have again learning other programming languages, or you have learning other things. I think I talk too much. I think you understand now what I'm going to tell you. Okay. So, last thing, what is the programming language to choose in 2022? In this video, I say you should learn the programming language which you think will be useful and you will use after you finish your programming course, which can take, and that's very important too, 1 year or 2 years, and to master and go to professional level, perhaps 3-4 years and more, right? And that's why it's very important to consider this one. Okay, that was it. Good luck.